I've invested a lot of time with building sources and finding out what the federal government's doing in Springfield, Ohio. And it's not good. It's not good. They got their fusion centers lit up. They know who to go after. They know which crackhead to go hand an envelope of cash to work and on behalf of the FBI. The FBI is doing this. The FBI right now is the lead suspect in calling in bomb threats to the city, period. They are. But how do I know that? Ladies and gentlemen, you can know that. There are no suspects, okay? But if you called in a bomb threat, your door would be busted down in about an hour, okay? They have the most sophisticated surveillance technology on planet Earth, except they're not using it to go find bomb threat suspects. Why? Because that surveillance technology that they have access to would pinpoint their cubicle locations, okay? That's why. Because it's the FBI that's doing it. And I'm going to suspect them. They're the lead suspect. And especially because they're so concerned about it that they're running around Springfield, Ohio with envelopes of cash, offering it to people on the ground that have illegal guns, okay, that they would love to have them running around shooting people. I was told last night in a covert, secure communication that people with envelopes of cash working for the FBI, all right, are handing cash to people that have illegal guns. They're on crack, and I have the street corner location where they're hanging out, okay? And we're going to go there. And the whole community right now knows, I understand, anybody offers you from the FBI envelopes of cash to do their bidding, we will double it. Take the money, and then we'll give you twice as much. And everyone's fired up right now. So go ahead, FBI, run around with your bags of cash to all your homie dope dealers. They now work for the American people. They love the opportunity. Bring big bags of cash, because the more you give them, the more we're going to give them back. And you're going to be recorded for doing it. And by the way, you can't. You can take me out. You can assassinate President Trump. It ain't going to make Springfield go away. And all of our beloved homie dope dealers right now are working for us. They know that you're the freaking criminals. You're the ones that are delivering the drugs into the city. And they know that their days are numbered, that you can go back in there, take their drugs, take their money, and put them in jail. They know it. Deb Santilli.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Pete Santilli Show.
Good morning.
We got the best team right now. Don't mention any names. Don't mention any names, but I'll tell you what. Connected to a long-term investigation has been going on. JJ, God bless him. Ryan Matta, God bless him. LFA TV, God bless LFA TV, and the work that's been done. Ryan Matta is an LFA TV member, and we're about to see one of the most consequential human and sex trafficking documentaries dropped in our entire lifetime. And one of the top federal agents, former federal agents, is leading that. So we have a great team, don't we?
Yeah, that gets released today. But yeah. So we went to Springfield this weekend. Spent the day there, actually. We got there kind of early.
Don't give specifics as to times and stuff like that, because they'll go back and try to figure out where I was at a certain time, and then
so we got there
and then determine who I was talking to. Yeah.
And we drove through downtown, and as typical with any city, big or small, downtown in that little square, right? The town square looks nice, But then you get out to the more rural areas in Springfield, and wow, I mean, there is a lot of poverty there, a lot of it. And then,
did you hear my comment about what his interests are? Like, everyone's concerned about his real estate transactions. The one that I was able to establish, the guy's real estate interests that I'm concerned about are the cemetery plots that he's looking to fill. Rue.
The cemetery there, I got to tell you.
Beautiful.
The funeral home he owns is like a mansion. I mean, I'm not talking a small one, but I'm going to show it. It's huge.
I'm going to show it, but just give the general narrative.
Right. but the real estate investment firm that he owns or is part of is called Littleton, right? Littleton and Rue, which is also the name of the big funeral home he owns there. This place is unbelievable. I mean, it's like for a small city. I mean, it is kind of over the top. But, when you drive through the neighborhood that Mr. Rue lives in, and then you drive through the neighborhoods where they're putting all of the Haitians.
By the way, I have that, but go ahead. Just speak to the narrative. I have everything you're talking about.
Okay. Then you see a stark difference, and it's that way with every city, and therein lies the problem. The thing is the research that Pete did, of course, and then just going there on the ground and talking to people. These investment firms like Solar Collective LLC is the one we were honed in on. They come to the city from other cities, and they buy up blocks of neighborhoods, abandoned homes, people who are in trouble and can't afford it anymore, very depressed neighborhoods.
Yes.
And they're buying up blocks of homes. And they're saying that they're doing rehab on these homes, but the particular neighborhood that we went into, windows missing in the houses, old dilapidated siding, trash everywhere, just really run down, And then you talk to the neighborhood.
And by the way, throw back to me. Continue on, but throw back to me when you're ready for me to describe the scam of people living in a house, paying a mortgage. Next thing you know, they're out, and a whole bunch of guys come in and buy 20-something properties.
Right.
Go ahead.
So that this happened 2008 in Detroit, Michigan. They destroyed it. They're creating slums all across the United States of America. That's what they're doing. They literally are turning it into a third world country. But, when you talk to the neighbors, or the people who live in these communities, they said that used to be white people who lived in these neighborhoods, and this is nothing disparaging toward the Haitians, but now there's in this whole neighborhood only two houses that have white people in them now, right? So, there's 10 to 15 Haitians living in a single family 3-bedroom home, which is completely illegal.
Very, very commonplace.
And it's very common in not only Springfield, but everywhere. I mean, but these people are these landlords, these slum lords now, these investment firms who are really super rich, but they're slum lords. They buy the property, maybe fix a window, maybe do a paint job, but overall the property is trash, and they never come back to it again. They live in a different city, and they just rent these places out, and the only thing they care about is if they get that check from the government every month. And guess what? In that $18,000 house that was sold in a block of houses to the investment firm Solar LLC, it was only worth, it was
Solar Collective. Make sure we get it right. And you guys, if we get it wrong, it's important when you go research with common names like that. There's probably 10 different companies. You got to be careful.
Make sure
because we have some corrections to make, and we understand how they do it. But you got to, if you're going to research on the name that she just mentioned, you have to make absolutely certain the name of the company and the LLC that you search has to be perfect.
Yeah,
so,
and
but we're just going to mention it.
Clark, and you have to say Clark County too.
That's right. That's right.
Not Springfield, Clark County.
Yep.
But these people. Okay, so the house that we honed in on was assessed at $18,000 for its worth. It was sold in a block of houses that, and in this block of houses.
Well, let me correct. The assessment, by the way, you know how the county assessor determines the assessment, right? Yeah. If the house was sold in 1930 for $18,000, the last time it was sold. That's the assessed value.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Okay.
So if that house, if you got an old person that was living in there and they bought it at $18,000, that's the assess. The assessor always wants to come in and reevaluate and say, we're going to reassess it based on the local comps. There's always an argument because people don't know this. You have to tell the county, you're not just going to come in and go by local, because I have a beautiful house and it's worth way more. The only way you can change my assessment is to get an appraisal, and you have to fight them because they want to increase your taxes.
Exactly.
So you fight them, right?
So the house was assessed at $18,000, and they bought it. Solar Collective bought it for $55,000, way above its assessment, and they bought it for $55,000, Pete, in a block of 24 houses that they bought for $1.64 million. Right?
20-something properties.
Right. 24 properties. Right. So what they did in the house that we looked at and we honed in on, they put 10 to 15 Haitians in that house. And that's illegal, first of all, not allowed to do that. But guess what? This investment company gets $500 to $1,000 per Haitian, per person living in that house. So you do the math. They've got 24 of them in Springfield, all doing the same thing, right? These single family homes, the Haitians come, and then they invite their family from Haiti, right? They get permission because they're family, and then the family comes, and before you know it, 2 people that were living in that house has now turned into 10 to 15, and the government just pays.
And they're paying per head. Okay,
per head.
now let me describe something.
$1,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why, Mr. Death Merchant, excuse the expression, and by the way, this is my opinion, and it's a pretty well-informed opinion. When I call him a death merchant and he's upset by that, then stop being in the business of death.
Yeah.
He's literally earned his fortune and established his prominence in the community by providing a smooth process from your death to the real estate plot known as a cemetery, right? That's his business. And you're gonna be stunned. Okay?
I looked at his houses too, the Mayor Ruse rental properties.
Yes.
In Springfield. His are all more middle class. Better well taken care of, and there's only one property that I saw that was that he paid a lower price for, and that property had no picture with it. There was no photo of that property. So listen, these are just 2 investment firms, and the mayor's in on this too, that we looked at, and this is all follow the money. Follow the money. And then you've got a governor who has a charitable organization, a school named after his daughter in Haiti, right? And he's bringing these Haitian people in.
Oh, by the way, can I mention something?
Yeah.
You will hear pretty much, I can pretty much guarantee you, before the end of the week, you're going to hear DeWine say that there's no credible evidence that he's connected. As soon as you hear that, let me tell you what happens, okay? There will be no credible evidence because that's what the CIA does. And how do I know that the CIA is involved in Haiti? Because they were training, and I heard this from the Haitians and in the local community. The CIA trained the Colombian militants that overthrew the government recently. And that's why these Haitians had to leave, because there were instances where they had, let's say, a political protest, right? Kamala Harris has the CIA, and she's down in Haiti, and she's trying to run the government, right? And the CIA wants her in. And then President Trump is down in Haiti, and people that want to support him held a protest in the public square. Because the Colombian militants are literally being used by Kamala, right, to get office. And the Colombian warlords and gangsters that are supplied U.S. guns from the CIA, right? You know what they did to the MAGA protesters? in the public square for an election protest. They got 200 people, caged them in, put them in a pile, set them on fire, and killed them all. And it got to a point where people that were there for decades that were able to navigate around the various gang factions that are local to the Haitian community, even through the earthquake, they were able to negotiate, even priests, like the truces between gang members. When the CIA got involved and armed militants went in to overthrow and install their president, that is when the majority of the Haitians started fleeing. And you can't blame them, because they could survive before. They just keep their mouths shut and, just stay away. And, we know who the gang factions are. Please don't mess with me. I'll pay you, every month. There's a social order that goes along with that. That was destroyed decades where they tried to navigate in between these gang members. When the CIA came in, they destroyed Haiti. The biggest reason for the 730,000 plus Haitians that are coming throughout the country, they will come here illegally. Absolutely. They will do whatever they can to not be burned by a CIA-trained Colombian warlord, okay? I can't blame them. Come here. I was talking to church members, okay? You know how I know this? People, Haitians, are petrified. They don't want to be put on blast. They don't want anyone to know that they were in a political protest in Haiti. And they can be told to keep their mouths shut because they made it all the way to Springfield.
Right.
Some of them were identified in Miami, and they had to be transported to Springfield with the help of the government of Ohio, led by Governor DeWine, who's pretending to be a Republican, who's a human. Right now, he's running the biggest human and child sex and drug trafficking hub in the country. That DeWine. Well, and he will say there's no evidence of that, but...
Yeah, that's not true. Because before...
What's not true?
Well, when he says there's no evidence of human trafficking, that's not true because we know better.
No, there's no evidence that he's involved in it.
Well, because our attorney general, right? Well, there's no evidence that he's involved in it other than common sense, but he's still complicit, Pete. But our attorney general, David Yost, has been releasing statements for months now, a year.
If DeWine breathes one word, and even if he leaves my name out, all right, this is what I'll do, because you can't slither around me. And by the way, go call Stephen Myrie and go call Loretta Lynch, okay? Go call James Comey. All right, I've got some credibility, by the way. But if DeWine steps out and you reference anything that I'm accusing you of, I will file a lawsuit on behalf of all the residents of Springfield in a class action, right? That you are literally being a UN replacement migration propaganda tool, okay? That you are literally putting out misinformation, and we will bring you to court. We'll open up discovery, and I also have access to some of your covert communications. That what I'm saying is that Ohio is the top human child sex trafficking and drug trafficking hub in the U.S., and DeWine is presiding over it and helping to facilitate it. But his saying that there is no evidence is proof that he's got the CIA protection.
In 1776, the founders of this nation gave us something that had never existed before: a government by the people. We've had our ups and downs, learned and grew, and bled for freedom. Over time, We, the people, became distracted by the success that our hard-fought freedoms brought us, and bad people saw an opportunity. As we traded our birthright for cheap entertainment, our rights, our voice, and our power has been whittled away. Until now. Introducing Republic, an entirely new kind of social media. Republic focuses on local, giving activists, organizations, candidates, and small businesses the power to inform, organize, and act, all in a single place, enabling you to be the local hero your community desperately needs. No more covering up the truth. No more advertising-funded news. No more data mining. This is how we rebuild, rekindle, and restore our republic.
My fellow American patriots, I'm Colonel Douglas McGregor. By now, we should all know that as a talk show host, Pete Santilli has been fighting to defend our constitutional republic for over 13 years. As a U.S. Marine whose oath never expires, he's now calling upon you to do your part, to inform your community and step up as an American hero to help save our republic from being overtaken by communism. Join today and save 33% off your membership. Join now. Visit republic.us/Santilli. That's republic.us/Santilli.